Finally, a deacon. Yay! First of all, I want to thank you all for all your prayers and all your support and words of encouragement for the last 4.5 years. 4.5 years. There is an unwritten tradition that a deacon's first homily is about his own conversion. I got lucky. Today we celebrate the Feast of Pentecost, and every conversion story is a story about the works of the Holy Spirit. My conversion is not different from any other conversion. The Holy Spirit talks and talks and talks, and one day we listen. Then he keeps talking and talking and talking, and one day we follow. Let me give witness to the love of the Holy Spirit for all of us by telling you about what he has done in my life. For most of my life, I was what I call a satellite Catholic. Just going around, not too close, but not too far. Just there, a comfortable distance. I have no idea for how long the Holy Spirit had been talking to me, but he must have grown tired, since he went for the good old 1-2 combo. The first punch throws you off. The second punch knocks you out. Let me explain. Some 10 years ago, my brother Carlos and I were talking about our hometown where we grew up, back in Mexico. And we were talking about the latest economic crisis and the latest victims of such crisis. He would say, "Remember so-and-so? He lost everything. And remember so-and-so? He lost his job, and now you find him at church all the time." Then Carlos said, "It's funny. Once they had lost it all, then they remember God." Ouch. That was the first punch. Something about my brother's comment really bothered me. Is that who I was? Somebody who kept God stashed away only to recall him when I had nowhere else to go? This bothered me so much that it turned my attention to religion. All my readings and all my thoughts focused on it. It was still more of an intellectual curiosity though. A year or so later, I read a very simple, yet very well-written book, Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. That was the second punch. I was knocked out. I cannot pinpoint a specific thing in the book that got me. What did the trick was understanding the beauty and simplicity of Christianity, which is but a reflection of the beauty and simplicity of God. I knew I had come to a moment of decision. No more orbiting around. I was either in or I was out. I chose in. I gave my life to Christ. The Holy Spirit had talked to me through my brother and through a book written 60 years ago. As in Pentecost, the Holy Spirit spoke to me in multiple ways, and yet with a single message. A message saying, "Come home, Ricardo. Come home." After that, I discovered that the Holy Spirit, that master of languages who in Pentecost made the crowds understand the apostles, each in their native tongue. The Spirit who spoke to me first in Spanish through my brother, and then in English through a British author, can also speak with a French accent.
He does.
After my knockout, I went to see Father Michael for advice on how to grow in my faith. I didn't really know Father Michael back then, so I meant it more like an introduction. I am sure Father Michael was not listening. You see, I told him that I wanted to gradually grow in my faith, and I asked him for advice on books and prayers or meditations. And the first thing out of his mouth was, "Have you thought of becoming a deacon?" I was shocked. Truth be told, I looked him in the eyes and I told him, "Father, I don't kiss on the first date." Do you see what's going on? The problem of offering your life to God is that He accepts it. Your life is no longer yours. Invite the Holy Spirit to your heart and He will move in. It took another 4 years since Father Michael brought up the deacon thing for me to move in that direction. But the Spirit had already been hard at work. It's like buying an old house. The first thing you do is to remodel. You change the furniture, you paint the walls, you make of your new house your new home. Same thing with the Spirit. When you invite the Holy Spirit into your heart, He starts making it His home. There's a TV show called Extreme Makeover Home Edition. What they do in that show is they kick the people out of their house, then for about a week they go and get all these screws and remodel the whole thing from inside out. Then they bring the family back. But before the family is back, they cover the house from view with a big bus. The bus, then when the family's there waiting, expectant to see what the house looks like, then the bus rolls away. And they see the beautiful house that they now have, and there's a lot of hugging and crying and all that nice stuff. Compared to the Holy Spirit, that's amateur stuff. When I invited the Holy Spirit into my heart, He rolled up His sleeves. Walls were turned down. Doors were built. A little facade work, but He's mainly into interior design. To my surprise, He didn't fix the old leaky roof. In fact, I think He drilled new holes. When I asked him, he said that a heart should never be isolated from the outside, and that a leaky roof adds charisma. Now, when that term is used by the Holy Spirit, you know it's deep. And the work continues. Clearly, the Holy Spirit never heard of regulations about environmental impact. Sometimes the sound of a pavement breaker would wake me up in the middle of a peaceful night. Since he started his project in earnest on me, we had gone through 2 layoffs and 2 potentially very serious illnesses. We are all right, thank God. My spiritual director would call it the deconstruction. He would tell me, Ricardo, the Spirit is tearing you down to build you up. Next time, I'm joining the Marines. It's a lot easier. And the work continues. And so it is for each one of us. The Holy Spirit will talk and talk and talk until we listen. Then he will keep talking and talking and talking until we follow. One day, as we pass from this life to the next, we will be surrounded by all those we love and be led through the most beautiful street of the most beautiful city to the front of a house whose view will be blocked by a bus. As the bus rolls away, we will see that the house the Spirit was building in our heart was but a small model of the mansion with many rooms that the Father has reserved for us in the heavenly city. And then, in one language, but with a meaning that goes beyond all tongues, we will hear our Father say, Mi casa es tu casa.